Viewers, if you've known me and we've talked about this, you will know that I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars video games, and this one is no exception. While I do, to be fair, I really enjoy some of the N64 Star Wars games. I think Rogue Squadron is amazingly fun. I really need to pick up the second one. But unfortunately, this is not 365 days of the Nintendo 64, because that would get expensive. This is 365 days of the NES, and because of that, we are looking at Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back from Lucasfilm Games and JVC Digital Studios, released in March of 1992. Developed by Lucasfilm Games, or Lucasfilm Games, or Lucasfilm Games, or Lucasfilm Games, which is a funny name, and published by JVC. So, there you go. Now you know everything there is to know. Actually, that's a lie. It is the sequel to the original Star Wars for the NES, obviously, since it was a sequel to the fourth movie. It is the second in the 3 video games released under the Empire Strikes Back title for home video game systems, GidioVames. That's right. It's the latest thing. It was preceded by a version for the Atari 2600, which I used to have, and superseded by Super Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back for the Super Nintendo. The NES version was released the same year as JVC's Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo. As Empire was released towards the end of the NES's lifestyle, a corresponding sequel to the film Return of the Jedi was never developed. Think about that. When the NES got Empire Strikes Back, the Super Nintendo got Super Star Wars. Dislike them both. A version was released for the Game Boy, and that product was reprinted and distributed by several publishers over the course of 3 years because it was that darn good. That's obviously what that means. So the object of the game is to destroy an Imperial probe droid, escape a Wampa-infested ice cavern, fight during the Battle of Hoth, meet Master Yoda on Dagobah to train with him, and attempt to rescue friendly characters in Cloud City from Darth Vader. Overall, pretty good to what the movie had happen in it. We control a Luke Skywalker, who can fight with a blaster pistol or a lightsaber, who can board a Snowspeeder during the Battle of Hoth, and as Luke learns about the Force, he develops multiple Force powers to help during his mission. The controls in this game are horrible. The music in this game is bizarre. Paul Webb is the name of the guy who worked on the music for this. And while a lot of it is basically just taken from Star Wars, some of it is based on Star Wars, and it just kind of kicks on and off whenever it seems appropriate, or not, or things. One thing I will say, the graphics, pretty good. Not here in the overworld side-scrolling bit. Excuse me. Luke looks just a little like a plastic army man kind of figure. There's really no detail on him at all. But the portraits are very nice. The backgrounds are pretty good. Some better than others. It's playable, but it is really hard. And occasionally we will run into a boss like a Wampa or a probe droid or whatever. The walkers, as we're trying to escape from Hoth, that makes it into this game. Excuse me. But they have so much health. I ended up using turbo quite a bit playing through this, and I'm sure I'll get some footage of it in here somewhere, but there's a lot of me standing in a safe spot holding the turbo button to kill bosses, which takes way too long. And sometimes in these old NES games, turbo was actually a disadvantage to you because it would give the enemies more blink time to not take damage, but not in this game. I tried with and without, and it just doesn't happen. So I played through the first stage, which is incredibly long. I mean, ridiculously long. And made it to the second stage, which is basically the entirety of the Atari version of the game is the second stage of this game. You're just flying your little speeder around, blowing up walkers. Not doing the tow rope trick. However, the game actually works, at least in the second stage, on 3 different depths. You will have speeder in front of walker, and speeder behind walker, and then walker obviously in the middle. And it's only visual. You can be hit while flying in front of them, you can be hit while traveling behind them, and you can fire at them from both sides as well. I have always felt that if a little more time were put into the Star Wars games, making the controls just less bizarre, and the physics. I mean, the physics are just really, really weird. The games could have been a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable. I still, from time to time, will play Super Star Wars, but I never really have enough fun with it to play through the whole thing. This game, I could see it going really the same way. It's not a horrible game, but at the same time, if I saw this in a shop somewhere, I would probably pick it up just to say I had it and then never play it.